Good evening, welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Private Property Podcast. I'm your host, Sibs Matiela, and as usual, we're here to talk about all things property. We told you months ago, all roads lead to the property show. If you were not able to make it, you didn't manage to get a ticket, whatever your reasons are, it actually doesn't matter because we love you so much. And because privateproperty.co.za loves to connect you to the heart of property, what we've done is taken the experts directly from the property show and brought them onto the podcast so they can answer all of your burning questions. Right now, speaking to Nondumiso Ncapai from ABSA. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good,
sis?
thank you. Tell me what you do at ABSA.
So I am the managing executive for the home loan business, and I think, I work with an incredible team. And as a team, our purpose is to house the nation and shape the industry in a meaningful way. We understand what property means, especially in our country. It's not just a structure to us. We're wanting to enable many more South Africans to own property. And that is our business of every single day when we show up.
Nondumiso, ABSA is one of the proud sponsors, actually, of the property show. Why would you say it's so important for you guys to be part of something like this and go now? I mean, it's going to be a regional thing, moving to Durban, moving to Cape Town. And I imagine you will be there not selling people, but, showing people how they can use ABSA to enable them to live out their best dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Sips, I think it's absolutely important for us to continuously engage the market. We said it today, at the property show, that we're here. We're here to serve. We're here to have conversation, but most importantly, we're here to listen. The kind of questions that we get from customers or consumers enable us to think differently as we solution for different customers across the country to really realize their dreams around home ownership. So first, absolutely important, it's the engagement. I think the second reason for me is about partnerships. We fundamentally believe in partnerships in the industry. As a bank, we cannot do it alone. We shouldn't do it alone. But each of us in the industry as critical stakeholders have an equal role to play to realize the dreams of many South Africans. And that is why we fundamentally believe in the property show and why it's important for us to be here, to have the right conversations, the engagements, and make sure that we listen.
What is the one takeaway you've taken away personally from the property show?
The one takeaway, a customer yesterday, in fact, I was 2 days. So the first day I was there, really observing and listening. And one customer said, why ABSA? Why ABSA? And for me, that was an important takeaway for us to say, listen. And that listening then enabled us to have different conversations on day 2. And it was very simple. We said, there's a simple answer. There's a couple of reasons why ABSA home loans, should you decide to finance your property or your dreams. I think the first one is, as a bank, we look at our colleagues because it starts there. And when we say house the nation, we start at home. It's house our colleagues. We've got specific propositions for our colleagues that work within the bank that enable them to enter the property ladder. That's number one. But as we take that principle to customers, it's about enabling customers through propositions by understanding what needs they've got. Because if you don't solution for the need, frankly, your product sits and we leave it there on the shelf. I think for me, the third aspect is that we are a multi-channel business, meaning that we are where you need us to be as a multi-channel business, whether you go through mortgage originator, estate agent, the branch environment, call center, you want to chat to someone directly, we call them property finance specialists, or you want to self-serve via digital, we're there. And that was an important point to land in the market, to say we will be where you need us to be. And hence, we are a multi-channel business. The other aspect, and why ABSA? We're here to listen and have conversation. And I said, it's not about us being hidden away in some boardroom, solutioning for the customer when you don't engage a customer. And I said, don't laugh. And I said, we're wearing our tackies, we're wearing our sneakers, we're wearing our shirts, but really we're human beings at the end of the day. And we're here to have conversation, because when we listen and we think about what customers are telling us, we're able to take the insights back to the drawing board to then figure out how we actually bring the stream of housing the nation and shaping the industry in a meaningful way.
I love the dream of housing the nation. And I think a lot of people would maybe count themselves out, maybe thinking, you know what, this is not something I can afford. This is not something realistically I think I can do. I don't know if I can commit to this kind of financial thing for the next 20 years, the next however many years. Self-employed people who struggled really during the pandemic, who thought they'd be able to reach certain financial goals and aren't able to do that anymore. What would you say to those people now coming to ABSA thinking, I don't know, I don't think I can, Nondumiso, but can I?
Yeah. So, Sibs, it's an important question that you ask, and that is why, as a bank, we have got different tools that we've built to enable consumers to understand. And I'm going to give one great example because it's important to give proof points. Can I get financing from a bank? And that tool, we call it the pre-qualification tool, which is accessible on the ABSA website from your laptop, iPad, smartphone, etc. Through that process, you're able to determine whether the bank is able to give you the amount that you need, even before you buy a home. But I think second for me is us having said we are a multi-channel business means that the consumer can reach us through any of these channels. And by doing so, it enables us to have a conversation with the customer so we can solution for you specifically. There is no one size fits all. I think it's about understanding who the consumer is that's coming in, how we then understand their affordability, because at the heart of lending, it's making sure that we meet the requirements of NCR, which is a national credit regulator, around affordability. And by doing so, it allows us then to also then solution accordingly to say, guess what, we've passed the affordability test. We can see your credit score is great. By the way, did you know there are specific propositions that you may be eligible for just by coming to ABSA? And we're able to take you through all of those. That then enables you to then decide on whether you're ready to take up a financing with the bank or not. I think most importantly, it's about sitting and understanding the needs of that consumer at that point in time.
Hypothetically speaking, I bank with a different bank, and I'm looking at ABSA and I'm thinking, I can really get the most out of my money by going directly to ABSA. Do I have to now leave that other bank and come to ABSA for me to now be eligible for all of these tools that you guys offer?
It depends. So the tools are widely available to the market. You can access the tools from the ABSA website. You don't have to bank with ABSA to access those tools. And the tools even extend to us giving you a platform that helps you to understand the ins and outs of home ownership. You don't have to bank with ABSA to access those tools. I think for us, it's about inclusivity and accessibility. I think once you decide to come for financing, again, you don't need to be banking with ABSA, although we do say you get better benefits when you bank with ABSA and you're applying for a home loan. And those extend to discounts related to your home loan if you bank with ABSA. The other element is obviously enabling you to have easy access to manage your account digitally. And in those cases, we then say, certain things you might want to move to the bank to enable you to access more and better benefits.
What's the most valuable lesson you think you've learned along this journey?
Of home ownership?
Yeah.
Ask. And I said it today at the show, is have engagement with the bank. Ask. I mean, many consumers don't even know there's government subsidy called FLISP. As an example, FLISP, which is there for first-time buyers. I think secondly, for me, the important thing is ask. There are propositions that are there to solve for the needs and pain points related to home ownership, from attorney discounts to fee discounts, rate discounts when you do certain things that meet those requirements. There is so much that is out there that is offered by the bank. And the one thing that I'll say, and I hope that we'll all remember this, is ask the question. What are the propositions that are available to me as a consumer? What is the eligibility criteria? If you ask and you search, you'll get the answers you need that will enable you to make the right decisions when you're ready.
Listen, we've seen a rise in, young women, particularly entering the home ownership market as now first-time home buyers. What do you think is driving this trend, first of all? And secondly, what can we do to get more young Black females or females of color, especially in this country, just as the numerical majority, to now enter the property market?
I think more and more women are getting opportunities to participate in the economy in a meaningful way. And I think we cannot forget the picture of our country, that it's mainly women in numbers. We know that for a fact, it's a given. We've also seen in our stats that more and more women are applying for home loans. There are women that are heading up households and are thinking about their families and housing their families. All of these put together, participating in the economy, the responsibility we have as women in society, all of these things contribute towards the more and more women coming through the industry and seeing the numbers shift over time. I think it's important for me as industry stakeholders that we stay close to the needs of consumers. Because when you're close to consumers and you understand who the consumer is, you are then able to solution correctly for the needs of that consumer. And for me, it goes beyond gender. And understanding deeply what sits as friction points in the industry, as pain points in the industry that need to be solved for to enable many, many, many more or in our country to participate in property transactions. I think lastly, there's a hunger. There's a hunger to build legacy, to build wealth. In fact, we even go to the extent of seeing young women, young people getting engaged to say, I want to start a small business related to property. I want to grow a property portfolio. I want to start. And that hunger is what we need. We need to meet that hunger as big industry players to enable wealth creation in our country, because property is so much bigger. It has a fundamental role to play in the economy.
What is the one thing you wish everyone knew about home loans at ABSA? Just one thing.
One thing. There's so many things. It depends on which
two things.
Okay, I'm going to say two things. And I'm going to speak specifically to two types of customers. If you're a first-time buyer, I wish you knew that there is access to government subsidy. Yes, it's got specific criteria, and it's called FLISP, and it stands for Finance Linked Individual Subsidy Program. You can Google it, etc. You can approach a bank when you're applying for a home loan, and you'll get assistance to understand what it is, how it works, and how to access that if you are eligible. For first-time buyers, please don't forget that. I think the second thing for me, for property investors, is that ABSA has a great buy-to-let product. We are the only bank, SIPS. Let me repeat it again.
ABSA is the only bank.
Yes. That has the feature called future rental income. Maybe let me quickly explain what it is, and I'll put it in simple terms. If you have two properties and you don't have to bank with ABSA, you've got two properties, whether you're still paying them off or you've paid them off, it doesn't matter. You've got two properties or have had two properties. You are then able then to access a feature when you're buying your third property called future rental income. It could be that SIPS, you don't know what rental income you're going to get from this third property and you want to apply. You approach the bank. The bank is able to solution for you specifically. We work it out. We work out what component of that future rental income we can add back into our affordability, which could then enable you to afford your third property. It's the only bank.
Listen, ABSA is doing all of the heavy lifting for us while enabling us to put roofs over our heads, multiple roofs, and enter the property market, invest and have a portfolio. My goodness, that's Africanacity. Listen, thank you so much for joining me today. It was lovely to speak to you.
Thank you, Sibs. Thank you so much.
That's all I have for you for this episode. I will be back tomorrow live from the property show happening at the Sandton Convention Centre in Johannesburg, South Africa. I will see you then. Good night.